Okay, so now we want to, I want to go live with Facebook. Where is it? What's wrong with me? Oh, live stream. Facebook. Hey, Jan, come here. I want you to see this. Maggie, come here. Where's Maggie? She left the room. Yeah. God dang it. Okay, see on this computer, but this is what it looks like. And so we do UMB as let's be Doris Coghill. And then no, right down here, we're not sharing on my timeline, we're sharing on my page. And then you scroll down to select the page, and then you have to choose the right page, and then you go live.
We might want to write that all
And so hi, everybody. I'm Rochelle, the Upper Midwest Bead Society. Let's Bead Live. We're so darn excited to join all of you guys here in person and on Zoom. Oh my gosh, we got all kinds of people in the waiting room. Let's let you guys in. We're so excited. We are here at the Edina Senior Center. And we have with us her stand up, Doris, so that we can see. And then it's just, we got our camera set up for our teaching. We're really excited for our class. We got Doris Coghill here and all about spiral ropes with the twists, right? And so we have our announcements first. So Marlene is going to tell us all about what you need to know for the state fair.
Okay. We still have a couple time slots between 3 and 5 to cover, to sit and demonstrate, and just, you can display your beadwork, or you actually work on something and just answer questions about the Bead Society and whatever. I could use people between 3 and 5 and 1 and 3. And also I have 1, 2, 3, 5 pieces for the display case, and we need some more. I have 3 more committed, but I haven't received them yet. So now they're going to have to be taken to Lotus Bead at the Mall of America. And I will be picking them up on August 7th or 8th, pardon me. The deadline is the 7th. I'll pick them up on the 8th. And also at the Bead Bazaar, we're going to need people to be in the UMBS booth on Saturday and Sunday, October 26th and 27th. You'll be there just to promote the Bead Society, hand out cards, answer questions. And also we have room for people to teach at the Bead Bazaar. So far I have Maggie teaching both mornings from 10:30 to 12:30. So we need some classes being taught in the afternoon. You can teach anything you want. A lot of times we'll have supplies if we know ahead of time what you need. So just think about volunteering and helping out. Thank you. It's the display case and the bazaar.
Yay, thank you so much. Yeah, it's really exciting at the state fair. You're in the Creative Arts Building and you get to see people all day and talk about beads. So come on down and join the fun. Now we have Jan Carlson, our president, with a whole bunch more announcements.
Hi, everybody. So we've got a fall retreat coming up, and it's a little earlier this year, September 4th through the 8th. So it's the week of Labor Day, starting that Wednesday. And again, you can come any of the days or any combination of the days. And it will be fun. We'll have, again, at least 3 classes, I think, will be happening. And there'll be more details coming out on the website on those. And we'll have door prizes. We'll have lots of fun things going on. So hope you can join us for that. The other big thing is our 35th anniversary party that's coming up on October 13th. We've got a speaker, Tamara Honeman is speaking. She's going to speak on the bead industry future. We'll have gift bags, door prizes, a lovely lunch, excellent food there. And also for that event, we want to display as the centerpieces, we want to display work of all of our members. So if you have a piece, it can be a sculptural piece, a necklace, whatever, that would be fun to display on a table, and we'll take care of them and make sure you get them back. You can bring them to the October meeting, and then we'll set them up for the October 13th party, and then you can take them home with you at the party. So we really want to collect those things. We're also looking for committee members. All of our board members could use committee members working with them. So please consider that. Our board members have historically been the only people doing all of the work, and we'd really like to kind of take some of the work off of them and make it easier for them by volunteering to be on a committee. And then the UMBS Facebook page. If you have an event that you're participating in, or something that you want, to information you want to spread, among our members, you can post it on our UMBS Facebook page, and check in with Rochelle or with Hannah Rosner, and they can help you out with that. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jan. We are really excited. Yeah, we've got so many events. If you want to be a member, a committee member on any of our committees, we've got our membership committee, we've got our programming committee, we've got Twin City Bead Society sponsorship committees. And if it's something you haven't even thought of yet, but you're like, hey, I could help do this, that's what it's all about, is let's be creative. And so our next member meeting is August 12th. It's not the first Monday of the month because of our speakers time zone, and Maker Fest is that weekend. And I get home the day, on the 4th of August. So basically we've moved it to August 12th. So the second Monday in August. And it's Heidi Kumley. We're so excited. She's going to share with us about her 5 decades of beading. We're just learning. We're making sure everybody's joining us. So if you're watching us on Facebook, we're so excited that you're watching us on Facebook. Otherwise, we're excited for all the people that's here joining us in person at the Edina Senior Center. And so we're going to do more of these in-person events. So check your calendar for what's in person and what's just on Zoom. And so we're so excited. Our very own Doris Coghill is going to really be exciting with our spiral. So I apologize for making you dizzy here with the cameras, but you don't want to see me, you want to see her. So then when you're done, we'll just switch it to this camera.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Okay, so this design that I'm going to teach today has many names. A lot of people call it spiral rope, and it's been in many books and magazines and iterations of it, and it looks different, way different, depending on the type of beads you use. However, what a lot of people don't know, that way back in the 80s, it was one of the very first patterns that was available free on the internet. And because of that, for years, we called it the internet spiral. And it's very easy to do. And then I'm going to, you have the basic instructions. If anybody that's here live didn't bring their instructions, I have some more printed ones here if you need one. So we're going to do, I'm just going to show you the basic first, and then we'll get into the variations. Okay, so you need to use an 8 bead, size 8 bead as your core, and then you can use any kind of beads for your loops, is what I'll call them. This one is all pearls. So you can see that looks really different than it would if you had seed beads in there. This one is pearls and seed beads. And depending on the size also that you use, but I always recommend that you use at least an 8, maybe a 6, depending on what you're trying to do as your core, because you go through them so many times that you may have a problem getting through them if you use an 11. So the first thing you do, and then also you can decide how big you want your loops. If you want it to be a more compact spiral, you probably only want to use 3 core beads and maybe 5 beads in your loop. If you would want it to be a bigger, wider spiral, you could use 4 beads as your core set and put 7, 9, 11 beads in your loop and make it really big. The loop should always be an odd number. So in this case, I'm going to make this a 4. So I picked up 4 core beads, 4 size 8s. And then we're going to try 3 seed beads, a 4 millimeter, and then the 3 seed beads again. And we're going to go through those core beads. So that is how big your loop would be. So this is when to decide if you don't want it that big, then take out a couple of the seed beads and only do 5 seed beads instead of 6 plus the 4 millimeter fire polish. If you want it a little smaller, you can use a 3 millimeter fire polish. If you want the center to really stick out, use a 6 millimeter fire polish. The beauty of this stitch is that it works with any beads. So after you've done your first loop, you flip the loop. Let's see, I'm in the wrong spot. You flip the loop to the left. You pick up 1 core bead and your loop beads. And then the important thing that you have to remember when you're doing a stitch is to push your beads down so that they're touching. Now I started with 4 core beads. So every stitch I make, I'm going to go through the top 4, which is why you push the top one down so it's included in your group of 4. And then you push it over to the left. And so that you can get an idea if you decide you want the loops bigger, smaller, now is the time to change them. And you just keep doing that. And like I said, you push your bead down so you're going through the 4. And it doesn't make any difference what kind of thread you're going to use. See now, okay, now I just did this wrong, or I didn't do it wrong, but it flipped the wrong way. Can you see how it looks like it's out of alignment? So this one should have been like that. It went right instead of left. So that if you're doing it right, you'll have like a ladder going up in increments. You can use any kind of thread. You don't have to use a stronger thread like Fireline because you're going through those beads so many times that it's going to be sturdy. However, is probably a good idea if you want to use some wax.
What's your favorite wax?
Microcrystalline rather than beeswax. It stays softer than beeswax does.
I use my Burt's Bees lip balm a lot.
Oh yeah, that would work too. I don't know if you could hear that. She said she uses her Burt's Bees lip balm. Anything that makes the thread sticky. Now, some people think Thread Heaven can be used instead of wax. Thread Heaven is used to make your thread slippery. Wax is used to make your thread sticky. So now you can see that it's building the spiral, and that's what it looks like on the back side. So I'm going to keep going for a couple more stitches here. If anybody has any questions, just go ahead and raise your hand. I don't know, Jan, can you see them if they raise their hands, or should they put something in the?
Yep, we get a.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the chat.
Okay,
Yep, and if you're on Facebook too, you can ask questions because I'm monitoring Facebook.
We have an in-person hand here.
uh-huh. What you want, Sue?
So when your instructions, you say to go through the
That's what I said. You can do 3 or 4, depending on how big your loop is. Yeah, the instructions do say 3. But it depends on if you want a smaller loop and a smaller finished product, or a bigger loop with a wider finished product. So then, because you could use, for the loop, you could, if you're only doing 3 core beads, your loop should probably only be 5 beads. If you're using 4, it could be 7 or 9, but it has to always be an odd number.
For the outside part is an odd number, or the
The
corner?
loop, the loop has
okay.
to be an odd number. I mean, if you were using really, really big, like semi-precious stone or really big crystals, something like that, you could even do 5 or 6 as your core beads if you wanted to do a really gigantic one. It's the beauty of it is that it works with any beads, as long as you remember to flip it left. Now, there's also a variation of this called double spiral. Well, first, I think I'll talk about, so if you're doing a, see, now you can see it's starting for the spiral to get all the way around. And you could just keep doing it like this to make a bracelet or a necklace, whatever length you want it to go. Now, if you want a bracelet, you might want it not so floppy. So that would be a reason to do the 3 core beads and 5 in the loop, so that it doesn't catch on things. Now you can also get creative, and let's say you want a necklace, a graduated necklace. So you go the first 4 inches, and this I use 3 as the core beads. You do the first 4 inches with your loop of 5 beads. You do the next 3 or 4 inches, however long you want it, and the okay, wait a minute, and it is now 7 beads. So it's graduated. Can you see it's kind of hard to see in there. And then down towards the front, I've got 9 beads in the loop. There you can see the graduation.
Yeah. Looks good.
So, and then when you get to the center, it, can have more beads in the loop, and then you graduate back up the other way. In this case, what I'm planning on doing is putting some beaded beads in the center of the necklace. Uh-huh.
Does tension matter?
A little. I don't think you could get this too tight, but the wax helps with that. Then what you don't want is the loops to slip so there's thread showing. So yes, it matters, but not tremendously. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to do a couple more on this. And I like the graduated because then it gives it a little more dimension. It's not, it's kind of plain otherwise if you do the same thing the whole length. Okay, and now you can see that the spiral has made it all the way around the loop. Now there's a technique called double spiral. And in that one, I myself have actually never liked that one. Okay, this time I'm going to do 3. I've never liked that one because you basically do it in 2 colors. And so the first color you pick up and do your loop, you flip it left. Then you pick up the second color and you go through the same core beads, but you flip that one right. And so what it gives you is 2 colors spiraling around each other, but it's very hard to keep them organized the way they're supposed to be. So I have what I call a fake double spiral.
They call that a copy.
And so I'm going to show you how to do that now. It's much easier. And if you do it in the 2 colors like that, it looks much more like a real double spiral, but it's much easier to do. So I'm going to start with the 4 core beads again, but this time I'm going to pick up 3 of one color, the point bead, and then 3 of another color. Go through the 4 core beads just like you were starting the original one I showed you. And so that's what it looks like. Okay, now I'm going to not pick up a core bead and just pick up the loop beads. And you're going to go through the same 4 or 3 core beads that you did with the first loop. So that's what it'll look like. You also flip it left. So it's basically the same as the single one that I started with, except there's 2 loops in each stitch. So it makes it chunkier. So then I've got the 2 in there. So now I'm back to picking up 1 core bead. My loop beads. Push them down and go through the top 4 core beads. It will. Just keep turning it left and I'll a little while later give you a solution for that. She was complaining that her spiral keeps untwisting. And yes, it will. The original spiral rope, it spirals, but see, it's a very loose spiral. And one of the tricks I'm going to show you in a few minutes will show you how to get around that. My loop is being uncooperative here. Okay, so picking up just the loop beads this time. And going through the same. Now, as you're doing this, you'll find that this gets kind of thick and you have to concentrate on if you're going through the correct core beads. Especially once it gets all the way around. Okay, so now I'm into core bead mode again. Push it down and make sure everything is on the left so that I can count my top 4. Okay, now this time it's just loop beads.
So I've got a question for
Uh-huh.
Doris. When do you typically put your core bead on, at the beginning or at the end?
The beginning has to be the first one.
Thank you.
And now I'm going through the same 4 core beads. And flipping it left. And you can see that it's getting a lot thicker faster than the single version. And so sometimes you have to concentrate to figure out, yes, I've done 2 loops. It's time for a core bead again.
Thinking.
So push it down so you can go through the top 4. And you have to kind of get in there and make the beads behave to make sure that you got through the top 4.
What is that white container?
This one,
Yeah.
it's a top to a bead storage unit,
Okay.
or you can use a top to a prescription
Right.
aspirin
Thank,
bottle. Yeah,
thank.
these
I
are
just,
yeah, this was a bead storage unit that I got. And I found that I didn't really use the bead storage unit, but the covers made really good bead dishes.
what I thought. Thank you. I'm always looking for new storage.
Okay, now we're on.
Magnet backed ones that I use for travel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they stick to the magnet on your
You have to
trays.
just have a metal.
What are you talking about, magnet and trays? What did
Yeah,
I
the
miss?
fancy bead trays. Some of these trays, like Doris has here, have a magnet behind the surface. So then it
Ah.
sticks to your bead tray. Maggie
Oh,
got me
wow.
one when I was at Bead Fest. What is it? Potomac sells them.
Cool.
Yeah, it's the bead on it board and it's a
Mhm.
magnetic backing.
Okay, so now you can see how we've made one round and this looks a lot more sturdy than this one. So I'm going to keep going with this double one for a couple more here.
Grass around the fences and gardens. But I wasn't gonna like.
And now when you're all the way around is when it's getting tricky, which is another reason to use size 8s because they're a lot easier to get into. And I think I actually recommend that you use a size 6 if you're doing this double, just because it's tricky to get in the right spot. And then you have to sometimes see, I had to bend the loop to get it to behave.
The larger the hole of the core bead, the better.
Yeah, on the double. See, so now I'm going to have to fight to find where that. And sometimes you can't make it through all 4 of them at one time. You just have to make sure that you keep the loops where they're supposed to be. Now this time I picked up a thread where it wasn't supposed to be. There, can you see how that's spiraling around? And again, here's the finished one. Because the single one tends to be a little bit floppy.
Mix, brands.
Absolutely. Any beads work. Yeah, any beads work. It's not, her question was, can you mix brands? Check, Miyuki, Toho. Because in some patterns, it does make a difference because they're all just a hair different. But in this case, it's no problem.
Would you cascade in sizes, like start the loop with a 15 and end with an 8? Like-
Absolutely. Yeah, you can, I've done that. You can, your loop doesn't have to be all the same size. You can do 8, 11, 15, and then something big in the middle. Or 15, 11, and make 8 your middle or 6 your middle, and then go back down. Anything works.
Because, you know, I just pick up what's in my bead tray.
Exactly.
Start beading.
Yeah. Now, you know, usually when people do this spiral, the loop beads are all the same kind of beads all the way through. They don't have to be. So you could clean off your, it would make a really funky freeform spiral using just whatever you have on your bead mat. So we want to see one of those, Rochelle.
I will. I will.
That's your assignment for the next meeting.
You know, I have a bead show and.
I know.
I have to prepare, I have to make how many Eternal Hope bracelets between now and the end of the month?
Okay, for retreat.
Okay. Well, of 2025, right?
Okay, I see I have a problem. One of my loops of threads caught on a previous loop and held it down. Can you guys see that? Probably not. So I have to try and loosen a couple.
Doing a bead thing.
There we go. Got the loop. There, got it fixed. Okay, now on the,
Here's the last one.
and you guys aren't this far on what you're working on, so you won't be able to do this quite yet. But as I said, if you're doing the single one, it looks kind of floppy. You can see the spiral, but it's not very defined. However, if you go like this, and you can see now it's a very, yeah, that's not a very good example. Okay. This is just a regular spiral. And it's, because it's got bigger beads in it, it's not as floppy as if you're using little smaller beads. If you you can make it. Can you see the difference? That's not showing up very well. You can see the difference here when the loops are bigger. There, can you see, here's the spiral.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes.
Yeah.
And this one is just, it's there, but it's kind of floppy. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to make it do that. So after you're all done with your piece, oh, here's another example. This is the one with the pearls and it's all floppy. After we're done with the tightening, it will look like that, which is a big difference. So after you're all done with the piece, and I'm going to unthread my needle.
While you're doing that, I didn't see how you put the two together. Do you just start from the beginning?
But I'm not understanding what you want. The two together, the double
Yes.
spiral,
Double spiral.
the fake double spiral. Okay. You do a regular loop in the core bead, and your second loop has all of the loop beads, but you go through the same set of core beads.
Okay.
So you're only picking up a core bead on every other loop. Okay, so to get this spiral more pronounced, you would finish whatever, if it's a necklace or a bracelet, and it will shorten the length very slightly. On this one that I showed you, it only shortened it by about less than a half an inch. So it's a little, but not drastic. So you would finish your piece, add your clasp, start another thread. And in this case, I'm not starting another thread, but start another thread and tie it on to the top of the last core bead. Then put your needle, oops, and I haven't got too big of a needle because I'm doing pearls. I mean, on that because let me try this again. Okay, so you attach another thread, and I usually recommend that you do a double thread and then burn off the knot so that you can tie it on there with just a slip knot. And then you attach that right at the top of the end core bead. And then you go through the beads on the loop and come out what I call the point bead, which is why you're doing an odd number in your loops. And okay, so I came out the point bead, and I'm going to go over to the next loop and go through that same point bead. Go to the next loop, go through the point bead.
So you're just hooking them.
I'm just hooking the point beads together. So you can see how that's tightening that up.
Yeah.
Did we maybe, let me try and.
You look really good on the camera.
Oh, it does on there? Okay, I'm looking on here and it looks dark. Okay, yeah, okay.
So you just go.
Whoops. I'm just going through the big bead or the core or I call it the point bead, and I went through the wrong one. So, and you just have to make sure that you don't get mixed up as to which loop is next. And that you don't hook your thread on other beads. Can you see how nice that looks compared to the? So it makes it look like a Cellini spiral, and it's not.
You're attaching two spirals?
Nope, I'm just going through that center bead in each of your loops. And that pulls the loops together. Can you see that? So it looks like,
Yes, thank you.
it makes it look like a Cellini.
Doris, you mentioned put your clasp on them and do that. which
Yeah.
is Wiser to do that before you finish the class, and it's gonna get shorter, especially for a bracelet.
Well, it's on a bracelet piece. Yeah, you probably are right to do this first just to see. That way you can still add another couple loops if you need to. See, look at the difference there.
Oh, yeah.
So after, and then when you get to the end, go through the rest of the loop and tie a knot. And yeah, if you're, that was a good point, Barb. If you're doing, you might want to do this before you add the clasp. So just in case it shortens it more than you want it to, you can add a couple more.
I was thinking mostly for a bracelet.
Yeah. A necklace, a half inch, a bracelet. Yeah, it might.
The piece that you're tightening up, is that the fake double spiral?
No, this was a single. The double one, you can tighten. Actually, I'm going to go back to this one. When you get it done, okay, so this is what it looks like without tightening. If you tightened it, it would look like that. So yes, you could do it, but it doesn't change it a whole lot. Yeah, I think so. And on the ones you're working on, if you want to see if you would like them to be spiraled like that, you take your piece that you've done and just twist it. And so that's what it would look like. Now we haven't gone very far on that one, so it's kind of hard to see, but that's what it would look like if you. So it does give it a totally different look. Okay, so should we just keep beading here for another few minutes? I'll go back to work on this single. Are there any more questions out there?
I'm sorry I'm late and frustrate others. I'm just curious about that two-paneled one.
The fake double spiral?
Yes,
What would you like to know?
starting it, you said,
Okay, you
Uh,
start it the same way. You start it with, you pick up your core beads and then your loop and go back through the core beads again. And then you pick up just the loop beads and you go through the same core beads that you did on the previous loop. So you're getting 2 loops through the same set of core beads.
is this on your explanation on your handout?
Yes. It's under variations on the back.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What do you find are the best kind of clasps to finish something like this off with?
It, whatever you choose, it doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
It would be any kind of single strand clasp where you could either finish it with a self-made, like a peyote clasp, where you do a peyote tube and then a loop of beads if you want a clasp made out of the same beads.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can use do a small loop of beads and add a split ring and then a clasp on the split ring. So just about any single strand clasp will work.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And Doris, you suggested using 6/0 beads when you're doing the double.
Yeah.
In the fork.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's easier to get through. Because it's hard to see those little buggers in there when the loops get in the way.
Little buggers, is that the official name for that?
It is. You know, those beads are so tiny that they look like little bugs. Or we have a friend who affectionately calls anything size 15 or smaller dirt. And she refuses to work with dirt. And those of you who know who I mean.
I love it. That's usually the only ones I do.
And did you guys hear when Michelle asked a question on if the beads on the loop can be graduated? And yes, they can. You can do it, basically anything works with this stitch, anything that you think looks good. Okay, so here's the single and what it'll look like if you just wear it like that. But if you do that final stitch, it will turn into a spiral like that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what's what? Uh-huh.
So if you want to go ahead and start off with a set of beads and then gradually increase it, do you maybe pick up? I mean, you don't want to start off with a really large bead. You do like a couple of small beads and then the medium bead.
Yes, okay.
And then
The question was more about graduating. In this case, I used the same beads. I just, well, on this one, I added an 8 in there. I started out with 5 beads, went to 7, and then went to 9 with an 8 in there next to the largest bead. So yes, you can add different, because that will make it bigger also if you're adding bigger beads in there.
Okay. That makes sense, because you don't want to have too big of start. but then-
Yeah. Okay, so here's an example of, I used size 6s as the point bead. And when I sewed them, did that final sew together, can you see that I added, looks like a 15? And actually, those aren't 6s, those are magatamas. Those are magatamas. But the beads I was using were too big. When I tried to sew it together with just the magatamas got in the way. I couldn't get it close enough. So I went through the magatama, picked up an 11, through the magatama, picked up an 11. So sometimes you have to be a little creative. And in this case, I used the lighter color. Can you see the lighter color core in the middle there?
Oh, yeah.
There, you can see it there. And so that can be a design feature also. And this one I've actually never finished, but. Uh-huh.
On the big double spiral, if you're trying to tighten it up, when you have two beads that are together, you do a square stitch with those?
No, on the fake double, I don't think it's a good idea to try and tighten that one. I'm not sure it would work because there's too many beads in there. And two of the loops are at the exact same height. One of the reasons that the tightening works is because each loop is slightly lower. Okay, we'll get there. Okay, so this is one. This is a necklace that I did. It's got triangles in it, so you don't have to use all round beads. This one has triangles in it. I don't know if you can tell that. Yeah, you can. It shows better on the screen than it does on the laptop I'm looking at. But you can see that that makes a nice stiff necklace. However, this kit is sneaky. All you have to do is wrap it around itself and you have a bracelet.
I like that.
So you can wear it as a necklace. And it just unwraps.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I love how it does that. So the necklace now turns into a bracelet. That's so cool.
It just unwraps.
So put a snake head on one end.
Yeah. So I have that is available as a kit and a pattern in 2 colors.
And was it using triangles?
Yeah, there's triangles in the loop.
Okay.
It's got it's 2 triangles, an 11, an 8, 11, and 2 triangles are in the loop.
Oh,
And so the triangles give it a little different dimension.
that's good.
Okay, then we have this one. Okay, this is kind of the same idea. The center part of this necklace, can you see that? No, you can't.
Pretty.
Okay, the center part of this necklace is the same thing. It's 2 spirals done in 2 different colors and wrapped together, the same as I did with the bracelet. And then the top part of the necklace is just a single. But that's also tightened.
Nice.
That's the one.
Yeah. And that kit comes in 2 colors. And that also has triangles in the loop. Then if you want to get really sneaky, well, wait, let me show you some of these others first here. Then you can use 2-hole beads as your center point bead. And yeah.
Huh? I gotta see this. Where is it?
Okay, so what you're going to do is you pick up in your loop, you pick up and you have to pick up the left hole. And then you do like the fake double spiral and you do another loop in the same core beads, but your point bead is the other half of the 2-hole bead. So, okay, so your loop is, in this case, 4 seed beads, 4 11s, a 2-hole bead, and 4 11s. You do your normal loop through the core beads. Then you pick up, you do not pick up another core bead, you pick up the 4 11s and go through the other hole. Excuse me a minute. So in this case, these are these weird T beads that nobody could figure out what to do with. And I was determined I was going to make a kit using T beads to prove that they were easy to use. And but beads they're called, and they're available on my website. But I've also done it with 2-hole triangles and bars. I haven't tried it with super duos, but any 2-hole beads will work. And here you can see I tightened this one up too. And this one has 5 beads. So there's 2 11s, a 3 millimeter, and 2 11s. And you were asking about the clasps. This is a self clasp. So you do a little tube of peyote, attach it, and then do a loop that'll fit over it. So you don't have to put on a metal clasp. You can use the same
Yeah.
beads.
Very nice.
Those are all. Okay, these are all the T beads in different colors.
Potomac makes those, or who?
I don't remember, to tell you the truth. It's been a while. I think A and B,
We get
A to
those
Z.
from the guy check.
Yeah, they're Czech, but I can't remember the name of the wholesale distributor. It's A to something. My mind's blank.
See those core.
Yeah, you can see the core beads in there. And this will, so these have the 2 11s, a 3 millimeter, and 2 11s. And yes, in this case, because your loop is so small, you can see the core beads. So then that makes that a design feature.
Doris, was it all beads, CD?
No, that's Heineck. It's
I've seen it on Etsy, but
A to B or A to Z or something. They did the mini duos. Okay, in this one, I got creative. And so here is graduated. So it gets bigger and bigger, the same beads, but I just use more seed beads to make it more graduated. Then this has, this is the 2-hole triangles, or I'm sorry, 2-hole diamonds. So it's a diamond shape with a hole and a hole. And when I did the loop, I just picked up the 1 hole of the diamond and just did a regular single spiral. When I went back to stiffen it, can you see the extra beads I added? So I go through, there's a picot around the other hole of the 2-hole bead, a 3mm in the middle, a picot around, and then that gives it a really big spiral.
Done it without the picot and just putting the beads between the points?
You could, yeah, you could. I was trying to make it more sparkly.
Yeah.
The question was, have I done it without the picots? And I haven't done it, but I think I probably tried it that way first and decided I wanted more sparkle.
Yeah.
And so I went back and did the picots.
A lot of dimension.
Yeah, it does. It gives it. The second hole, that's where you're stiffening it.
All that around it.
Yeah. Yep. So the second hole, you do the picot around, add the 3mm in between, the picot around in the second hole. Yeah. And so that gives it dimension. And then if you want to get really sneaky, you pick up 3 2-hole beads at the same time as your center. So in this case, this is both a fake double, and I'm picking up 3 2-hole beads at the same time. So your 3 seed beads, a 2-hole triangle, a 2-hole bar, a 2-hole triangle, and 3 seed beads. Then your next loop, you do not pick up a core bead. You're doing it like the fake double, and you're going, so you pick up 3 seed beads, go through the second hole of all 3 of those, and then 3 more beads and go through the same set of core beads. So this is a fake double embellished. And you can see it's too stiff. In this case, it's way too stiff to try and stiffen it more. It wouldn't work. But in this case, oh, it looks like that one's kind of coming off. In this case, I just did, I tied a thread onto a split ring and then put the clasp onto there. And then you can also do that as a necklace. And here is just the, okay, this part is just the fake double spiral with just regular size 8s in the middle. But when I get down here for the front part of the necklace, I do the same thing where I'm picking up 3 2-hole beads to make it thicker and more pronounced, and doing fake double spiral in that also. But you wouldn't know that that was the same stitch because you're embellishing it or you're adding the different beads. So you can do a lot with this. I mean, we just basically showed you the basic today, but then tweaked your imagination with all of the things you could do with it. These bracelets are These are, okay, you're gonna switch cameras. I'm going to teach a class, or maybe more than one, at the bead retreat. What would you like me to teach? You get to vote.
I won't be able to make it.
Then they're all available as kits and patterns on my website. This is the one that's getting the most votes right now.
The caterpillar,
Yeah, the caterpillar.
because it feels like a caterpillar.
Yeah. But so if you're going to retreat, put in comments which one you like best.
Teaching 3 classes.
Well,
And which day are you teaching it? At the
wherever
retreat?
it fits, you know, it's like I usually don't ever schedule. I let everybody else schedule, and you know, if it comes to it, we can do the same class twice. It's not complicated.
Yeah, get signed up for the retreat,
Yeah, the information should be out there soon.
Is it on the website yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
but it is.
And then how do we switch back to?
4 through 8.
September 4th through 8th is the retreat.
I actually did put it up on the website. I don't know if I put it on the homepage, but I put it on the retreat page.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to get the information out there about the classes. I don't think that's out there yet.
Yeah. Because I know somebody was asking me how soon they could sign up. Oh, Annie wants to come. And so she was asking when she could sign up. I said, soon. But I don't think it's out there yet. Okay, so what would you like more information on? Any of that stuff I showed you? Which one?
Yes.
Okay, so should I explain them again?
Well, and do you have the beads to actually do the picot with the 2 holes?
I think we could maybe arrange that. Let me go grab. Yeah, no, she wants that one. She wants the
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah. They're on their way.
Okay, so we've had a request to do. Let's see, I need. So we've had a request to do the 2-hole diamonds with the picot on. So I'm going to take a minute here to do, and the colors aren't going to be good, but they'll, whoops, I need a.
So anyway, she shakes her head and laughs. And so.
Okay, explain what you're doing.
Okay, I'm just doing a regular spiral. And I have to see if this will work. Hang on a second.
A little bit further down, or towards you. Oh, all right.
No, I needed one more bead in there, so that won't work. Okay, let's try that again.
So I don't know, so I got a lot of see. There's a couple pieces. Yeah.
Okay, so we had a request to show how I did the picot on the 2-hole diamonds. So first we have to build our spiral. And it's just like a regular. In this case, I'm doing 4 core beads, 3 size 11s, the 2-hole diamond, three size 11s, go through the top 4 core beads.
You're not going through both holes of the double diamond?
No, this is just the 1 hole.
Don't forget to check. Both holes are open.
Yes.
Those diamonds.
Good point. Whenever you're working with 2-hole beads, you always need to check that both holes are open, especially if you're coming back later to do something with the other hole.
So at what point do we do the second hole?
On this one, not until you're all done.
All right, then you go back to that.
On the, if you're doing where you do the fake double, the first loop is in the left hole, the second loop is in the right hole. The one with the double diamonds is more of an embellishment. Okay, so you've done your entire piece with the 2-hole diamonds and you only use 1 hole and then the other hole is sticking up. So when you get to the end, you tie on your I don't know what to call it, your strengthening thread. And in this case, you have to add a few more beads. Okay, so you're going through the first hole. You're doing a picot. And I think I used 15s in the kit, but and you just go through that hole again. See, so you now have a picot above it. And then you stick a 3 or a 4 millimeter in between and go to the next one. Oops, my thread is tangled here. Just a sec.
It just proves you're human.
Yes. The teachers can do it wrong also. Okay. So then the bigger bead is in between. And then I'm going to do a picot over the top. And go through that again.
Did you use 5 in the picot, Doris?
Did I what? 5, yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
There.
I have too many threads on my beading board.
Clear the plain surface. I know. That's why there's something like that. Switch. Switch.
Okay, see, so then, can you see there's the picots? With, and that's a little bit, it should be a 3mm, not a 4mm, but it separates them. And so it will make, and I think I use 15s instead of 11s, but I didn't bring any with me, so. But you can see that it's starting to spiral with the. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking, did the second hole and while you were still.
No,
building spiral.
not in this case. In all the other cases, yes. This one is different. Okay, anybody want me to
Yeah.
go over anything else?
Doris, could you repeat the triangle ones? For that one, you did 2 triangle beads and 8, 11 and 8, and then 2 triangles for your bracelet thing.
Oh, for the bracelet?
Yeah,
That's a 3, 2,
I like-
bead.
no,
That one?
the skinny one.
No.
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
Yes, the loop has 2 triangle beads, an 11,
the shiny 8.
an 8, an 11, and 2 triangle beads.
Okay, all right. I was a little
And the-
confused because it seemed like small beads for the loop, but that's what
Yeah.
makes it small. Got
Yeah,
it.
and the core is size 8.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Thank you.
And we send that out or something.
Is that called a twisted spiral?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pattern.
Yeah, I've got a pattern or a kit available on my website. But otherwise, it's done just the same as the basic directions I sent you. It's just using different beads.
And did you strengthen it?
Thank you.
Yes, that's what makes it look like a Cellini.
Makes sense. I mean, it's just the same thing with the variation.
Exactly. It's so you learn one stitch and then you learn how to alter it.
Yeah, I love it.
And so it's, you know, it's basically the same as this one. It's just different beads.
You have a question.
Uh-huh.
The one using the diamonds,
Mhm.
can that be made with 3mm fire polish versus?
That is what the pattern says, I think.
Oh,
Or does it say 2?
That's 2mm.
Then you should use 2, otherwise it might stick out a little funny.
I used 3.
She's got a bunch of polishes over there.
They need 2 now.
Yeah, I didn't bring the 2mm.
Uh-oh, spaghetti. You can order from the website.
Yeah, they're not on the,
They're not
you
on
can-
the website?
you can use a size 8 instead of a 2.
Okay.
Does Lotus carry 2mm?
We have the true 2s.
Which are smaller.
Which are a little bit littler, lots of 3s. We have the 2mm fire or bicone, Preciosa. Would that work? A bicone or instead of a fire polish?
Yeah, there's 3mm bicones, Swarovski bicones over there. Yeah, or a size 8 bead would work.
I love alternatives. What would work instead of this or this, just in case you have it?
I know, you know, people would come into the bead bazaar and say, I want to do this pattern. But I can't find these beads. And I go, well, you just use blah, blah, blah instead of blah, blah, blah. And they just didn't understand that.
That's what's so nice. Those things you can interchange.
Yes, yes.
They're a little slow on the giddy up. Takes us longer to.
And like I said, these have megatamas as the center bead.
And is that the Mayuki Megatama, the Toho Megatama, the long Megatamas? I'm sorry, but there's all three, so
Those look like short megatoms.
they kind of look like.
I think these are the Japanese regular ones. I don't, yeah, no, they're not the Czech ones.
Okay,
They're the regular, large,
but not the long one.
not the long ones, no.
It's shaped like a drop, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
so basically a megatama is there, can you see it that way? Is basically a drop.
but the
Yeah, and just to-
Toho Megatamas are a really short drop, where the Mayuki Megatamas are
Mm.
a bigger drop.
Oh, yeah, no, this is not,
Not a Toho Megatama.
yeah, these are the fat ones.
Yeah.
I don't remember who makes, which company makes those, but those are the fat ones.
We make no judgments here.
No, we use all categories.
All sizes.
And that's what make it fun, because sometimes, you know, what you want to do, that company does not make. And so you have to interchange.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. The company may not like it, but there's nothing wrong with that, because you need to do what you need to do. Like in this case, all the beads are Japanese. Well, the seed beads are Japanese and the 2 holes are Czech.
Can you teach us the fast version of spiral roll?
There's not a fast version.
Doris, will you bring your samples with to the retreat, please?
I can, yes.
Thank you.
And should I bring the patterns and kits also?
That's probably a good idea.
Okay, I will do that. Because I don't usually bring kits and patterns to retreat, but I can. And all UMBS members always get 10% off any kits or patterns.
But being as you showed it and people got to see it, there probably will be some interest in it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Absolutely, I bet. I mean, there's interest here in the room, so there's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
interest there. I love it. It's been so much fun.
Can I show you what I did and you can tell me? if
Yes.
it's wrong?
Yeah, come on up here to
Yeah.
the camera, so then we can have a description and they can see. And then explain. And so come around here, Nanita.
No, I don't.
Spotlight.
No, but you can see what she's talking about.
Okay,
Spotlight.
no, okay, it looks fine.
It looks weird.
Well, that's because you're using a smaller core bead. Okay,
I'm using an 8.
yeah, but Nanita is saying that she thinks this looks weird. And what you should do is make this 7 instead of 5. Make the loop bigger.
Oh, okay.
But then if you tighten it,
Oh, look at that.
That's-
a spiral.
that's what it'll look like after you tighten it. If you want to tighten it, you don't have to. But see, it'll work fine. It looks wonky loose. But after you tighten it, that's what it'll look like.
And another thing is you can go back through those center ones. Right?
Right, right. You can, after you're all done, run a thread through the center ones and that will tighten it up a little. No,
Yeah.
just through the core beads.
Oh, through the core beads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, somebody else give me whatever you're working on so we can show.
Can I show mine? I
Yes,
don't know
please.
if
Oh,
it
yeah.
shows well.
Okay,
Okay.
let me, raise your hand. Who is it that we
Oh,
want
wait.
to?
I'd like to show mine.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Well, I don't know if it'll work. Will it work?
Hold on. I'm trying to
You can
find
make
you.
yourself host.
There it is.
Oh, Rita, you made yourself host, so you have to spotlight. I can't spotlight because I'm not host no more.
Oh, okay, so how do I do that? Is there,
Can you make yourself a co-host?
I am a co-host, I thought.
Oh, you're a host.
Spotlight to everyone. There we go. There we go. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Wow,
So,
you got
and
really,
I used 8 for the core, and I had these old triangle beads that I got,
Lift
I
it
don't even know where. They look like
it up higher,
this,
Rita.
and they're kind of an 8.
Yeah, lift it up
Uh,
higher. We can't see it.
Okay, so, yeah, so I used like 2 8s and 1 3 fire polish and 2 11s for my loop.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought it came out pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay, Paulette, give me your,
Okay, so I'm spotlight myself now. How do I do that
wait, no,
again?
can you make can you make me the host?
So let's see, how do I do that? Do I
Just
go
make
to you, Rochelle, and let's see, where is she?
Yeah, you go back to you and then you change your.
Cause yeah, you have to remove your spotlight.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Jan did it for me. Okay, so how do you do the host thing?
I think you click on your name, don't
The
you?
3 little dots
Oh,
right
dots,
next to my name, click on those. Or click on you and make yourself the co-host and make me the host again. Otherwise, I can't stop the recording and I can't stop Facebook.
so it'll keep recording forever.
Well, if we don't stop the recording, it doesn't record correctly.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking for Rochelle and I can't find her.
it's Upper Midwest Bead Society. I'm not Rochelle. I'm an Upper Midwest Bead Society. Where it says-
Okay,
the one that says me. Where it's on Doris's mat, the little 3 dots next to Doris's mat. I don't know.
I don't know if I made the right person the host.
Yep, you sure did.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're gonna spotlight. No, you did good.
So now put it back.
There we
There we
go.
go. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is a very interesting one. She went off on her own direction and it's really cool.
Wow.
So what she did, can you see her loop?
Mhm.
Has 3 seed beads, a magatama, a fire polish, a magatama, and 3 more seed beads.
Love it.
So once, if she tightens this, it will
Oh,
look
pretty.
that.
Yeah.
A double helix row. I love it.
And then I'm gonna add, when I make it bigger, I have fire polish.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Oh, so you're gonna do a graduated? Good deal.
That's super cool, Paulette. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay, who else has got one that we can show?
Anybody else got one?
Leanne and Sue?
Whether you're at home or in person. Here it is. Here's Jan's.
Okay. Oh, so Jan did the tightening already.
Yeah.
And she used 5. She did a core of 3 and her loop is 5, 2 seed beads, a 3 millimeter and 2 seed beads, and she's already tightened it. And you can see when your loop is smaller and you tighten, you're going to see your core beads more. So it's a design feature.
Yeah, really cool.
And this would also make a cool pair of earrings.
Mhm.
Just add a drop to that
Yep.
and you've got a nice set of earrings.
Super adorable. And then you got some more samples dropped off to you there. Yep.
Okay. Oh, this is another, somebody was trying the 2-hole one.
Yep.
And I think you got, no, you're good. Now the 2-hole ones you don't usually tighten because they're stiff enough themselves. So she's using a Super Duo.
I love it.
Yeah. looks
the
good.
color bead. It's pretty, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aqua, dark aqua.
Oh, and here's colorful
Oh,
Oh, nice.
again,
Oh,
and she just
pretty.
used the 3 core beads and the 5 loops, and she's got 2 millimeters in there, but you can see that core in there after she's tightened it. And that makes a very nice necklace to do a pendant off of, or, you know, whatever. Okay, this one is got,
It's just like Leanna's, but it doesn't have the definition that hers does.
okay, I see it now. Okay, so the core beads are size 8s, and it's got, she used the 2 trues. So they're, and did you do 3 core beads or 4? 3, I think.
3.
So,
2 millimeters.
right, but because the center is so small, there, you're seeing a spiral, but you're not seeing where it sticks out.
Yeah, it's a more subdued.
It's a more subdued spiral. So you can see she's tightened it.
But
and
for
you can
people
s-
who didn't like the bulky rope,
Yeah.
you know, that's a really nice
Yes,
thin rope.
and these are the 2 trues, which are slightly smaller than the 2 millimeter. And then this one has got an 8 in the middle. And is this, you did
That was the double.
the fake double and then you tightened it? Okay, in this case, she did the fake double and tightened it and it worked.
Yeah, I did a square, didn't you? Between the 2 that were even.
Okay, okay. You guys didn't hear that. So you guys had asked me if you should tighten the fake double. And I said probably not, because the beads weren't in a ladder, descending ladder, because 2 of them would be right next to each other. So to get around that problem, for those 2 that were on the same level, she did a square stitch to connect those 2, and then went through the next point bead. And again, if you can do that, will depend on the beads that you're using in your loop. But yes, there's a lot of different ways you can come up with. See, and look at all my students have come up with all these cool different ways. Does anybody else have one to show? Kathy, do you have one that want to show yours?
I'm sure, but I haven't got much done. I haven't, I haven't adjusted a little.
It's, I couldn't make up my mind what colors I wanted to be.
See, so she's using all kinds of different colors. Okay, she's got the 2 triangles, 3 8s, and 2 triangles. And if, I think you've got one of your loops in the wrong
I think so
spot,
too. I'll wing it.
but if you tighten it, it would look like that.
Yeah.
But you've got that one loop wrong.
That's one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll sew another hunk on there.
Okay. Okay, anybody else have show and tell or?
Oh, yeah. Here. I'll show you what I did.
Oh, these are those penny
Joe-
machines.
Yes, Joe Mauer earrings.
Cool.
I
And
mean,
in case you guys didn't watch the news yesterday, well, he was inducted. He's has been a twin his whole career and was indicted into the Hall of Fame yesterday.
yeah,
Nice.
not indicted.
Inducted.
Inducted. You're- It's the other guy that's indicted.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and I have a show and tell. This is a netting with 2 whole beads.
So if anybody's interested in Joe Mauer earrings, I
So what are the light colored beads? I think.
It's a multicolor, but what's the shape?
It's a lentil.
Oh, it's a
Just a normal lentil?
It's a normal lentil, but because it's a netting stitch, or no, I'm sorry, these are the, what are they called? Mobies,
I was gonna say,
where the bottom is flat.
okay, and it's more of an oval versus a round.
Well, it's flat with a,
Oh, I get it.
yeah,
Okay.
It's rounded on one side and flat on the other.
right.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like a 2-hole lentil cut in half,
Yeah.
kind of,
Okay, that makes
Got
sense.
it.
yeah.
Are they part of
I don't think so, but you know, she does all these weird things, so
You could do that with a super glue.
you could do it with, you could,
Any
This-
two-hole bead.
this
probably.
pattern works for any 2-hole beads. Any that I've tried, and I've tried a lot. But yeah, it's a netting with 2-hole beads. And I have a pattern for that also.
Yeah, it looks like a nice texture.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is. And it would work with lentils too. It'd just be a little bit stiffer
Right, okay.
and a little bit closer together because the holes are a little bit further apart on these. And I've also done it with quadra lentils.
Okay, and then put another layer on the top?
No, it becomes a design feature because you see all the holes that you didn't
Oh.
use.
Interesting. So do you do 2 on the same size or do you do a diagonal hole, a top a hole and a bottom hole?
No, on the same side.
Same side. Okay.
Yeah, so then the 2 empty holes stick up
Okay,
and become a design feature.
gotcha. Fun, fun, fun. I bet it'd be nice with a diamond,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
that neat texture.
Yeah.
Or. I love it. That's so many of the patterns within multiple whole beads. You can interchange almost anything.
Yeah,
And it's the same pattern, but a different texture. Well, this has been so much fun. We are just so happy that you all joined us. And so Doris, again, your website for people to find it is,
beadsbyd.com.
and D has 2 E's. That's DEE, beadsbydee.com.
Thank you, Doris.
You're welcome.
We're so excited, and we hope that you will all join us for our upcoming Monday night with Heidi Gumley. And that is on August 12th. So if you're not a member, then you could join and go to umbs.org. It's only $35 a year for all those wonderful Monday night meetings. And we look forward to seeing you once again. And our next Let's Be Live will be Hannah Rosner. And that is on August 17th. And she is going to be leading us in her Queen for a Day sash. So it's based on the Victorian jewels. And so it'd be the perfect thing to wear to the 35th anniversary party. So if you started on the 17th of August, you should be able to finish it by October 13th. So the pattern will be up on the website and everything very, very soon. The information about it is already on the calendar page. And so then you can see it, put it on your date and collect your supplies for it. And she's got some, otherwise you can collect all your own. She's giving you a list of what you need. So thank you so much for beading with us
Bye.
today. Happy beading, everybody. Stop.